Hi everyone, welcome to this edition of Addington News. Darren Williams, very important week it has been. I've been lucky enough to be out at Canterbury Agricultural Park for the sales. Karaka was massive on Sunday up there in Auckland. Bit of a quieter trotting sale, but gee, it bounced back on the first of 2 days for the pacing sale. The average up over 51,000. So there's a bit of confidence in the sport going forward.
Yeah, look, there's been some big prices and some vendors that'll be very happy. Those averages certainly help everything. Trotter sale, as you say, was down a little bit, but a lot of first season sires and some really well credentialed first season sires that did very well. So 1 day to go, Wednesday, the day that we're recording this. So look, good luck to all those people out there. And you know, it was pleasing to see, given how tricky it is to run the sales under the sort of conditions that we're in, let alone the weather bomb that hit Auckland over the weekend.
Yeah, you're not wrong there. So we'll have a good wrap on the box seat of what unfolded on the final of 4 days, and just wrap up all of those top lots. And congratulations to all the vendors who've done such a great job, not only preparing their horses, but particularly in Auckland with those challenges. A great night at Addington last Friday, and a good day on a rather wet day. It ended up being on the Sunday, but we'll have a look later on at the Group 1 feature, the Fahey Fence High New Zealand Breeders' Stakes, the 50th running of that great race, and how special for Regan Todd and Robbie Close. And the combination that those two have put together over the last couple of years has now been rewarded in the ultimate race.
Yeah, absolutely. They were very excited. The owners were very excited. Terrific stuff for the man they know as Goose. His first Group win. I'd forgotten, of course, that Regan had won a Group 1 in Australia with Showgate. But certainly his first on New Zealand soil, and for a time when, as we talked about last week, leading up to the breeders, such an important time with breeding and the sales. A mare like her is going to take that breed even further, and I'm sure you've got a big wrap of that on the box seat this week.
Yep, we sure have. Yeah, to the O'Briens, congratulations to them, been in the game a long time, and they've got a Group 1 performer now, so they breed on, I'm sure that they will. Friday night at Addington this week, we've got a 9-race program underway at 5:23, and a deep sort of a maiden trot, race number 1 there.
Yeah, the IRT, Your Horse, Our Passion trot. And as we were just talking about off camera before, there's a number of these that are going to win a race pretty quickly. There's a fair bit of talent here for a maiden trot. So let's rip through the card. Greg, race 1.
Yeah, Little Miss Muscles will be the one to beat. Of course, this one related to Deny Everything by Muscle Mass, so an unusual breed, if you like, but trolled up really nicely. And she delivered on race day. She finished second first up. That was behind Sonny Lewis, or Louis, who I think will win plenty of races for the Fletcher team. So very big chance, the 5 in race number 1. Didn't mind the run of Rush either at its first up run at Rangiora. I think this Daughter of Peak for Mark Fuller and Craig Thornley can get some money too, and it'll win a maiden. I reckon it might be a good each way value as well. Raining in My Heart was a solid second here last week in behind Megan. Expect another good run from the Andrew Garter's trained runner. So it's a chance. The Beat had trialled nicely before its first up run, didn't get all favours. Gavin Smith back on board now that he's been up at the sales, and he trains the son of Love You, who's clearly taken time. It's been well schooled at the workouts and trials. And then you've got the likes of Leningrad, who's a first up starter, Son of a Son, who was second at its last start. Darren Simpson comes north. So you're right, the first is a deep race, and a lot of winners will come out of it, but I think this week it'll be Little Miss Muscles' turn.
There's a couple that made mistakes too, Greg, just recently. Oh No For Love made a huge amount of ground at Oamaru, so it could be one worth watching as well. It was pretty good in the 2-year-old races last season.
Yep, definitely was that. We kick things off quaddy-wise in, appropriately, the New Zealand Bloodstock Standardbred Mobile.
Yeah, race
let's have a look at this. Let's have a good look at this and see if we can get you off to a flyer with the quaddy. De La Renta had the money on first up for Aaron Swain, and it wasn't a bad performance at all. Ran past quite a few in the straight. So I think this mare by Rock and Roll Dance can go very close. John Dunn doing the steering, and when you see that sort of money for a horse that's fresh up, you've always got to respect it, particularly second up. Coachella was excellent on debut for Ken Barron and Blair Orange. This one's by Sweet Lou. did a power of work, Darren, and probably didn't have any right to still be there behind Glory's Delight, who you've heard on this show and on the box seat how much of a fan I am of hers. So that should be a great form line for this. Bertolini, the 4 is a fresh up runner for the Hopes. Been doing the steering, has trialled really nicely, and in behind a horse we'll talk about later in Street Hawk, who I think can win on Friday night. So you might want to consider it. And Bondi Luster from the inside, Ivan Court, and a very much informed Matthew Williamson. But yeah, I reckon quaddy wise, you're probably going to play around the 6 and the 8 and go pretty close to getting the first leg.
Race 3 is the second leg of the quaddie, the Media Works Trot, just a 2,000 metre race, mile and a quarter. So these can be a little bit tricky as well.
Yeah, you're not wrong there, Darren. Start will be imperative. Had a good chat at the sales to Mark Jones about Kauai Sunset, who is fresh up since running in the Jewels and went a cracking race in that too. Has galloped at both its trials, but not all its own fault. Mark said they've treated the horse and he's a lot better now. So he expects if he does things right, he can absolutely win that. So I'm happy to stand him out on top, but first up trotter, particularly the 2-year-olds into a 3-year-old season where the majority, and it can be the same for the 3-year-olds as well, of their races have been mobiles. It can be a trap, but I'm happy to go with him, but not with huge confidence. Phil Williamson brings Harry Stamper to Addington, and he's been here before. He's been placed before. That was in behind Magnifiche de Monch, and I think Harry Stamper's got a good chance. Others, Royal Deirdre from that breed that just keeps on delivering, and another one by Royal Aspirations. And Vertigo, I thought it's been good lately. And wasn't too bad in behind Winning Bones last time. So if you're taking a quaddie, Darren, you've got to have a spread in this leg for the mere fact that it's a mile and a quarter stand and they're trotters.
Absolutely. Race 4 is the Fulks Investments Mobile Pace over 1,980 metres, and that goes at 6:49.
Yeah, I know Regan Todd's always had a rap on Street Hawk, and he's just taken a little bit of time with him. He had 3 runs at his first preparation. Things didn't quite go his way. He's since been back to the trials, and he beat Bertolini at the trials. So I think that form line will stack up. Barrier 1, big chance. Street Hawk, happy to have it as the clear top pick in the race. Others with a chance, well, Sergeant Best is going to win a maiden. 2 excellent runs for Brendan Hill and Ricky May in his last 2 behind Mossdale Terry and Glory's Delight. Wide front row draw won't make it easy, but again, a very good winning chance. No, Terra's had 2 starts and gone great in both of them. And again, comes up with a bad barrier draw, but I can see this horse winning 3 or 4 races. So maybe it won't be this week. A little bit of luck, and it could be. And the other one I was interested in was Jared O'Reilly's Better Be Sharp, who's a colt by Better's Delight on debut. You know, with Jared's horses, they'll be well schooled. He doesn't bring them to the race unless they're ready to go. And this one's won a couple of trials.
The fourth leg of the quaddies, race 5, the Stora Motors Handicap Trot, 2,600 metres at 7:19.
Not an easy race. You've got horses like Bright Glow, who's won 2 of its last 5 starts and now has 11 in the bank, and Sod's Law, who's won 8 races only off the 10 metres. So you've got to respect them instantly. I've always had time for Samantha's Moon. Brent White, Ricky May. She's a mare by 1 over the Moon. She's a last start winner at Oamaru. She's won a couple at Addington. I think she will go the furthest, if you like, of the field that she lines up against on Friday night, and I'm happy to pick her on top. But again, you need a spread off the front. He's a Casanova, racing really well since with Robert and Jenna Dunn. I'd definitely give it a chance. Magnifique de Monche, who I just mentioned before, is also off the front. You'd like to consider it, and you have to have it in your top 4. And Royal Dell is racing well too. Sam Thornley, Fred Fletcher. My numbers, Darren, are 10 to beat 1, 6 and 2. And I've left out both of those horses I've already mentioned have won nearly 20 races between them.
We've seen last week, of course, Winning Bones finally behaved itself, trotted all the way and was home
It could do it again. Yep.
Yeah, as long as it behaves itself, it certainly got the ability. Race number 6 is the first leg of the second quaddie, the late quaddie. It's the box seat Mobile Pace, 1,980 at 7:48. It's a small field, but very talented.
You wouldn't believe it. We'll be profiling this race on the box seat. Why wouldn't we, with the name associated with it, Darren? Good race, really good race. Went back through One Change's record, and, you know, he's won 16 races, 8 of them here in New Zealand, 7 at Addington Raceway. His last win there, though, was the Sires Stakes in 2019. Don't let that put you off, because his form since joining Amber Hoffman has been really, really good. Last start third in the Invercargill Cup, excellent run, went very close off the back mark here at his previous start. Look, I think he can win this race. I really do. Interesting to see where the bookmakers place him when they open their market. But I've gone for him on top. He did win 8 races when he went to Australia, of course, as well. So he is a good horse, and he's won over 600,000. So I've got him on top. Speaking of horses that won a lot of money and a lot of races, Classy Brigade will love the mobile conditions of this race. So he might just line up and win. The old bloke, he's been such a great horse for the Iron-Ons and Mr. McKinnon. So, yeah, good luck to them again. And he'll go great. His stablemate Henry Hubert will. And DiCaprio, we know the quality that he is. He's on the comeback trail. There's no reason why he won't be competitive here. Drawn to his inside, Sam Hara, who won on show day, Homebush lad, who's been racing in all those country cups. And that Alexander guy, he might need a run, but he loves the 1980 in an early gate. So it's a good race. But yeah, I'll go with one change, Darren. I think he's overdue for success. Now he's been with Amber for a wee while.
That Alexander guy, of course, a terrific mobile horse and begins very quick. So he'll get onto the markers pretty quickly. Race number 7 is the Clarkson Signs Handicap Trot over 2,600 metres at 8:18.
Yeah, great to have Five Wise Men back at the races, wasn't it, a couple of weeks ago? And he's lost nothing of his ability or his speed. And Craig and Amy have done a good job. He looked like he was in need of a run, and they said he definitely was, and yet he charged home. So when you think who beat him home, Muscle Mountain and their Midnight Dash, who came out last week and won. So you might say 30 metres won't be easy, but he's got some friends back there. He's got Chief of Staff, who was great fresh up, and they did say that he would probably need a run too, so he'll improve. Tim Williams back in the bike with him, and the Dominator, who's racing well. Phoebe Onyx, the 30 metres rather, was a little bit too far back for him on Sunday, but he'll be very competitive. And off the front, you've got the Show Me the Greys and Cocky Melts, etc. But I think the 30-metre horses should dominate. With that number, 3 of them being back there, they can get into the race when they want to. And Five Wise Men is, well, he might be the best bet of the night, Darren. If you're getting sort of $1.80 or $2, I think you should take that.
Race number 8, the second last leg of the quaddies, the Johnny Walker Mobile Pace, 1980 at 8:43.
Gee, Smithy's Terror is racing super. A winner 2 starts back here. Beating Classy Dancer, and then last time behind Cranbourne. So that's a great form line for this. John Dunn doing the steering with the scratching of Shanika comes in one closer. Yeah, I think Smithy's Terror will just about win that race. It's a good race, though. I give Giselle a chance. She just pops up when you least expect her, but Murray Pash is he still loves the game. He's passionate, for want of a better term, and from that good draw, I reckon she'll be right in this, and she always pays overs rather. Tegan Banner's racing great. Ken Barron trains, of course, the 7-year-old by Art Major, so I think it's got a good chance. And High Flying Harry is doing exactly that. Corbin Newman getting on really well with him. And what about his win here last time, Darren? Beat Town Echo and absolutely beat them up. Was eased down at the line. That was a brilliant piece of driving. He's got the outside draw, which won't make it easy. But I reckon Smithy's Terror can grab another win, which would take him to 5 from 22 and would be a pretty good sort of a record.
Absolutely. Last race, race 9, the last leg of the quaddie, the first direct taxis pace, a 2,000-metre standing start race.
Yeah, he's got us again, Brian Rabbit, trying to trap us into the last leg of the quaddie and needing to take a few. I like Revered. Standing start record's good. Should step pretty quickly if it can get to the markers. Yeah, I'll give it a really good chance, Revered, and it's been racing in some stronger races, I think. So yeah, happy to be on it. Even though he is fresh up, he's been to the trials since December, and yeah, I think he can win in a fresh condition. Manjamup's a horse that I think you have to respect. Loves the standing start. Go back 2 starts. Excellent run behind Life's a Beach, who is a Group 1 horse, as we know. So yeah, I reckon you want to have it on your quaddie ticket. A better act for the Duns. Generally is safe enough from a stand. So I'm hopeful that he'll get that right. And Motormouth's been racing pretty well, hasn't it? Its last two at Addington behind Life's a Beach and Artie's Express, you could argue, is as good a form as any in this race. So, yep, tricky sort of a race to wrap things up. But if the right Revered turned up, I think he'll take some beating.
Yeah, I think that's right, Greg. Manjum Up, as you say, was very unlucky a couple of starts ago. Just got it a wee bit wrong last time. I think Ted's Legacy is one that's going to win a race pretty quickly. He always races good at Addington, but he just hasn't had a lot of luck lately. And then, of course, got things wrong last start as well. So, and of course, Silk out wide's always a very quick beginner. Doesn't quite finish it off as well most times, but always puts itself in a position to be competitive. So, yeah, those 2,000 metre races, as you say, if it's not the favourite, sometimes there's an upset there, and that can happen.
Yeah, he's got us a couple of times, Brian, with those this week. So, yeah, he's testing the punters out. It's an interesting night, though, mate. It really is. And
yeah, it is.
I'm looking forward to seeing Street Hawk. I think he's a horse that can win a few races. So I'm happy to probably stand him out as the best of the night.
Yep. Addington Raceway's revamped its website as well. So addington.co.nz has a racing section there. We try and put this video plus selections, race fields up there for the race day concerned, and as much other information as we can find leading up to the race meeting, including the box seat if you want a place to go and view that quickly as soon as we can get it up there. So that's worth having a look at. Try and pick up on a number of selections that are around the place, and any videos that we can grab as well. So that's worth having a look at, addington.co.nz. We're going to leave you with that feature from last week, the big race, the Fahey Fence Hire 50th running of the New Zealand Standardbred Breeders' Stakes. A terrific race, some very talented mares, and a very exciting time for both Regan Todd and Robbie Close.
Onto the scene as Darling Me found a kick. Need You Now awaits the lane. Wider out, Better Talk Heart and All American Lover. Better Talk Heart going to All American Lover. Need You Now getting through from Kelly's Delight. Need You Now and Better Talk Heart. Kelly's Delight late. It's Better Talk Heart in front. Robbie Close and Regan Todd get the Group 1. Better Talk Heart beats home either Need You Now or Kelly's Delight. Fourth in All American Lover. Then came Folklore from Darling Me.